Good morning. It's Saturday and we're back out here again. Aim is to try and clear more of this space so it starts to look like a place where humans can live rather than, I don't know, rather than what. Anyway, I have the responsibility of looking after my baby guinea pigs. Well, my neighbor's guinea pigs, but I do love them. And I'm so glad I had some celery because they were so excited when they saw the celery and they were so happy for it. And now we're here. And what I have been doing is I bought myself some herbs. And I've just been filling this little baba up. I've separated chives into 2 packs. I don't actually know where I've put. I'll find it somewhere. I'm sure I've put it somewhere and I don't know where. I'll find it. But we've got chives and we've got some lemon thyme, which smells absolutely fantastic. We've got some oregano hot and spicy, which also looks really good. And then, oh yes, I know where I've put the other chives. I've put the other chives down there in the bottom. And then over here, I've put the sage into this pot because these are blueberry plants. I got them from Thompson and Morgan. They're not very good. I've got better ones. So if they don't produce great size blueberries this year, I'll pull them out and make this a bed for something else. I've got this bed prepped ready for some carrots. I'm going to put some carrots all around the garlic. I don't know if carrot and garlic go together, but the plants I put in last year are starting to flower. So it was not worth me putting them in last year, or maybe it was worth putting them in to have a little bit of ground cover. They survived the winter, they survived the frosts. So I might actually seed some, just so I'm not buying them because they cost a lot of money. And even this one that looked totally completely dead seems to be coming up, but I'm not going to put anything in here because I've decided that this is going to be a space for, what is it going to be a space for? Ah yes, it's going to be a space for tomato here, a tomato there, and in here I'll leave it as flowers. This one obviously has already got sage in it. We got garlic and carrots. I may try and, we've got garlic in here as well as flowers. This one will be moved, but I don't know where to, but it's doing well. And another place I've actually put some herbs is in this pot, which will be moving. It's not going to stay here. The raspberries are going out today, but this will actually, this has got some dill in the center, some garlic, and I've got some hanging strawberries. This is supposed to be a strawberry fabric pot, but it doesn't work that well. So I wouldn't recommend you buy one because for some reason the watering doesn't work as well as it should. And as a result, the strawberries never thrive. Right, so what I'm going to do is I am making up a pot for the lavender. And I got myself a pink lavender. I didn't want to have a purple lavender, so I got myself a pink lavender. So I'll show you what it looks like as I go. So this is the way I'm going to work because then I'm not worried about recording, and that means that I can get on and do the jobs that need doing to clear this space. But I'm going to do a before picture and then I can do an after picture because I can then feel better about how the space looks. Let's take a picture before. What I forgot to say is I am actually mixing a little bit of, because I've got worms in some of my compost from which has been outdoors. I'm going to mix in a bit of paper because they love it, and I've put some paper in the bottom in order to help with absorption of water. And now I'm just going to mix in some of the Melcor because I assume lavender needs good draining soil, and then we'll set it up. Hi, sun is shining again. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually sorting out my covers for my self-watering systems for my pots in preparation for emptying a lot of the manure into the pots. So what I need to do now is show you what I've done so far, explain the madness, yeah, no, not madness, logic, and then I'll carry on. Okay, so as you can see, I've made a hole in each of these pots tops, the heavy duty pots I bought. I've made a hole so I can actually put the wicking material through, in order that it can go into the reservoir. And as you see, when it sits in the reservoir, it will pull up the water. And let me show you how it will look. I'll start with this one here. Nah, that one is too challenging, so let me go to one in the back. Yeah, so something like this. So I've had them open so they can collect water, but this goes right down into the bottom and will start to wick the water in. So with it closed like that and like that, and this will sit like this. This will be my reservoir for this pot, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sit this on top, and guess what we're going to do? Let me bring a bit of wicking membrane and show you. Okay, so as you can see, with the wicking membrane in place, it's married up with the one underneath. So when I show you like this, you can actually see that they're married up, and you can see the snail there. I'm not worried about those because they don't tend to bother my tomatoes. And so with the wicking membrane impressed, touching itself, it's a bit like a quad grow, but a massive one. I'm going to fill this with soil, and as I fill it with soil, I'll let this sit like this in the bottom, and then I'll bring it up a little bit so it sits to about here. And so what will then happen is water will come up from the bottom reservoir and keep this well watered and well maintained. And so that's what I'm going to get on and do with all these pots along here. Okay, I've added a couple of extra holes here and there, and I will cover them with something to stop them from becoming areas for slugs to pop in and live whilst they eat my plants. But for now, this will work really well to help keep the tomatoes watered. So now with that done, I can sit this on here, as you can see, and then sit this on top, and the weight of the soil will hold everything in place very well. And we've got ourselves our first of many self-watering systems in place. And now as it rains, when the rain goes through here and goes through these holes here, it will run through and get into the container as well. Great idea, no? Okay, so first layer, this is how I actually do my, I'll get my glove later. This is how I do my tomato pots. First layer in the bottom is pure manure. The next layer up to here is going to be a mix of manure and compost. And then the topmost layer is just plain compost. So that way the plant will have enough to feed it throughout the growing season. And it also means that it remained a good enough soil for a couple of years before I need to change it out. I'm planning how I'll set up self-feeding pots within each of these pots. But for now, let's get it filled up and done. Okay, we're slowly getting there. I've managed to complete 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one there. They're all filled, ready. I will put a bit of cardboard on top to cover them and keep the goodness in. The niceness of it is if it rains, the water will go down into the pots and then down into the reservoir, so none of the goodness will be lost. I still have to sort these out because I need to, oh gosh, it's such hard work. I don't know how I'm going to get the wicking material underneath them in order that they can sit like these ones, but they need to be sorted. I'm going to sort these ones out here, but ideally first I need to move these raspberries. So I think I'm going to move the raspberries out so that the place can feel a little bit more clear than it currently is, and then I'll move on from there. I am tired. I've been working for quite a while. I overestimated how much manure I would need for all the pots and everything, because look at how much I've still got left. And I've also got quite a bit of compost, which is fine. It will all get used in the end, but it's sorting out how I'm going to store it until I need it, because it's obvious that I don't want it here, and it's not going to all be needed. Each pot is taking about a third or a bag of manure and a third bag, half a bag of compost. I think of doing is to get some of my peas in along there, meteor peas, so that I feel like I'm doing something. So I'm going to create a frame, and then I'm going to put the peas in so they can start doing their growing. I do not know how I'm going to set them in so they don't actually affect the sunlight. Oh yes, and I had said that I was going to use this pot here for peas as well. So it's still got a bit of composting stuff in it, but we'll top it up with a little bit of compost and put some peas in there as well. They'll be very happy. I am also considering the possibility of putting in a couple of pea plants in each of these pots so they don't sit empty, and I think that would be a very good idea. I've created a mark where the tomato shelving those green things there, anyway, the halos, yeah, that's it, where they're going to sit. So that gives me space around the side to put in a little bit of peas. And the goodness of it is, if I put the peas in there, they will grow and they'll add nitrogen to the soil, and when the tomatoes finally come out, they will have a much better soil to live in. All right, so let me carry on a little bit longer. I am hungry, I want to eat, but I also want to carry on and have a bit of a nicer looking space, so that's what's driving me. So let me carry on for a little bit longer before I stop. I'm still here, I'm tired. But I'm still going because I decided that I was going to do more of the pots. So down here, let me just show you. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me just okay, so I've done this pot here, and then I just realized that I can actually turn these sideways on to add more pots here and still have enough growing space. So I'm going to put 2 here, and on the other side, this is going to be my entryway into this plot. And I can move it this way a little bit more once the pot is in place, and so I'll be able to go out here, and then on this side I'll be able to put, I think, 1, 2 and a third pot. So I'll probably get 3 pots in there, and this will be my new growing space. As you can see, the tomatoes will have enough space to grow. They'll have good enough reservoirs to thrive. I've left these on the stones, but I'm not too sure whether or not I'll keep them there. It will give a difference in height, which I think will look cool. The next stage will be to screw in some hooks there. I'll probably screw this board on and then screw in some hooks so that I can actually create. Now I won't need it because I've got the halos, so I'll use the halos as poles for support. But I'm just going to do this pot here, and then I'll find a pot for here so I can set that one up as well. And then once it's set up, I will consider whether or not I'm doing these 2 before I finish. And last but not least, I'm looking, it still looks so bad before after. It doesn't look like I've done anything, but I've done so much. I'm going to fold up all the empty manure bags, and I'm going to put them into 1 bag. The reason I want to keep them is because I'll be filling them with leaves next autumn, and then those leaves will help to mulch these beds as well as the beds at the allotment, as well as to giving my worms some space and some more interesting stuff to utilize. I am definitely keen to make sure I clear all the rubbish because I keep finding little, field mice here. So we need to create less of cocoon spaces where they can actually sit and stay. Right, let me carry on. the sun is helping me to feel better about staying out here without food on board. I probably could do a coffee. Actually, let me make myself a coffee, sit down for 5 minutes, and then I can carry on. Before I make the coffee, I thought I'd show you. So with this pot, because it's got larger holes because of the way I used to use the watering system, I've pulled the wicking membrane through the 2 holes, and one is going to be slightly shorter than the other, and I'm going to wrap them round in the manure, and then this pot will be done. But it's going to work fantastic, trust me in this. If you can actually, if you are in a garden without much space, you could use this method of growing. I'm using pots I've already got, but if I hadn't had pots, I'd have tried to find containers to sit on top of the containers. So you take the lid off, and then you'd use it as a container for soil, make a few holes in the bottom to allow drainage, and that would be it. You'd be sorted, and you'd have your own garden with water reservoir. With these reservoirs, even if you were to go on holiday for a week or two, they would actually keep your plants in water if you leave them filled, and I've done that several times and it's been extremely successful. So when you have a good large reservoir such as this, you do not have to worry about going on holiday for 2 weeks. So if you're thinking you might be planning a holiday and you want at least one of your plants to survive just in case there's not much in way of rain, set it up like this. Ooh. I've managed to organize the compost bins. I've started folding up a lot of the compost bags and put them away, and I noticed that this is my worm compost just here from my first bin, and I noticed that the grass was sending shoots up into it, trying to steal all the nutrition in there. So everything is now set on stone or on tile so that nothing is set directly on the ground, allowing anything to encroach on the richness I've created for myself. This also means that I can access the hedge for cutting and not worry about whether or not I can get around to cut the grass. So these are going to stay here like this, and I like them like this. And I've got one more tile to use for a third bin, which, taking into consideration the fact that this area gets really hot and therefore was not the best place to have the compost bins, them being along here will mean that they stay nice and cool in the summer. So I'll probably put another tile there, and the third compost bin I get will go there, whilst these guys will continue to sit here. They're not fully broken down, and I can top them up now because I've just checked them and they've sunk down a bit. This one is currently, hold on, let me just correct this one. Just needs to continue breaking down what it already has, and then we'll go from there. But I'm leaving that one to hang loose for now, and Destiny is the one I'm currently using. I like Destiny, she's solid. This one was becoming soft in the hot sun, and so it's not the best, whilst Destiny remains nice and solid. Right, let me carry on and do a bit more tidy. It doesn't look like I've done much. Let me show you. When you look from this angle, it still looks rather messy, but slightly less because we don't have so much in way of the compost, and we also, most of the bags have been put away and they're going to continue being put away. I think I know where I'm going to store my, my compost bags. I'm going to move them slightly so that not all of them are sat like this, because they're going to be around for a while, and because they're going to be around for a while, we need them to be put away tidily. I'm still up, but look, may as well get some energy in whilst I'm trying to tidy more. Let me show you what I've done. Not long since I spoke to you, but it has changed a little bit. Hold on, let me just show you. Okay, as you can see, I've managed to haul 7 bags of the manure over onto a stool I have over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to continue moving them, and I will use one of these chairs to keep the other bags of manure off the soil, or I might use a pot or something, but basically they're not going to be sat on the ground, they're going to be raised in order that this whole space is clear. And once it's clear, it will look a little bit better. After that, I'm going in. My girls just got back from Korea and they want to do gifting, so whatever the state of this place, it will stay. But at least the compost bins are in a much better organization and much tidier than they were before, which makes me a lot happier. So I'll eat this and then I'll continue. Pulled in earlier, sun is still out. It's been a great day. Okay, let me show you what I've done. You ready? It's exciting. It's hard work, but I'm getting there. Hold on. Okay, check this out. The table is going to go back to the space it normally occupies during the summer. That area still needs a bit more tidying, but until I get the raspberries out of the way, we can't start to see the wood for the trees. Over here, I'm coming, is clear. I need to sort this out, get those stones into that bed over there where all the tomatoes are, to deter as many snails as I can. But for here, we're done. Carried most of those and had to ask Mister to help me with the last 3 bags of manure, but I did all the rest. So I think gym work is done for today, and it looks good. It does, doesn't it? What I've also done is I have I'm so tired. I've put in the first of my peas here. I'm going to train them up here, and I'll probably put a small bunch up there. And I'm using this as a greenhouse. I've got bricks on top, so I'm not going to lift it, but inside there I've got some peas to give them more warmth so they can accelerate their growth. This will make a very good warming bed and prepping bed for greenhouse stuff. But I'm coming. Okay, lovely. I'm being bugged and asked to come in, so I'm going in now. Everything looks lovely though. Much, much better. Much, much better. Don't look there too hard. All right. Until the next time. Bye.